Brodes Media.
Yo, real quick, before we jump into the show, this Thursday, March 28th, Coffee with Brodes returns. That's right. At 11 a.m. here on YouTube, I'll be going live, and the way that you get access to it is you join the community here on Brodes Media for $4.99 a month. You also get access to our Discord channel as well. All the links are down below in the description. So every Monday and Thursday, starting this Thursday at 11 a.m., we will be going live where we kick back, hang out, and have some fun and drink our coffee together. So make sure if you're interested, you join today. Thank you all so much and enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. I'll give you a little insight on the behind the scenes of what's happening here at the Brody household, okay? So there's a window to get a couch delivered from 6 a.m. to noon. One hell of a goddamn window, right? Well, right now we're tracking the truck, and it says it should be here in about a half an hour to 45 minutes. So my job here is to squeeze this show in prior to the delivery because I got to help with the dogs, I got to help with the baby, I got to help with the current couch that we have now in the living room. Where's that going? It's a whole thing. So let's hope and pray that we can get through this puppy. And let's start here, okay? So Nick Sirianni, now that we got that out of the way, all the important information out of the way, Nick Sirianni spoke today, and for the first time maybe in my life, I thought that Nick Sirianni won the press conference. Now, does that matter? No, of course not. I don't think he won his initial press conference, as we all lived through that experience together. What does that really mean? Absolutely nothing. It means nothing. But I've just been so hard on Sirianni for so long now. This is the first time in a while where I go, okay, look, I can get behind some of it. Now, we'll play the audio, and there were some traditional Nick Sirianni type of answers where he goes with his ums and ahs, and then he gets a little sidetracked, and then he goes down some avenue that I have no idea how he even got there. But for the most part, I was pretty intrigued with some of the things he was saying, and that's not always the case. So I just want to acknowledge that. I didn't roll my eyes. I didn't go, oh, this clown, all right, I don't even understand. No, none of that. Some of it I could get behind. It's about execution at this point, but prior to getting to OTAs, prior to getting to the training camp, prior to having Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, and Sirianni sort of establishing this new version of Eagles football, you have to have a game plan that I can support. You have to have a message that I can fully stare at for hours and hours and hours and not find many flaws or not find failures in the logic. Okay, I could get behind this, but you better actually do it. You better execute well, but I don't mind the idea, the philosophy, some of the statements said, and there's actually some information and some things stated about the similarities behind getting Saquon Barkley and when they added A.J. Brown that I was thrilled about. I didn't even know that they could do this. And when I hear them, I'm like, wow. Okay, we're somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So I'm proud of the Eagles for giving me life, for giving me excitement, for not making me want to blow my brains out. And that's where we begin. All right, so let's listen to clip number one. This is Nick Sirianni on how, one, Saquon Barkley can help improve this football team, and two, how the organization views it from a schematic level and how they can add his value and add another dimension, add another wave to this offense, and how it compares to when they brought in A.J. Brown. Oh, this might tickle some fancies, baby.
He's obviously a really good player. We're really excited to have him. The style of play that he brings, the leadership that he brings, and so, however, guys like that, however you use them, they're gonna do a good job. And so we're obviously working on the ways that we're gonna use them now. Our offensive staff's working hard at that, and just really excited to have him add a player of his caliber to our team. couple years ago when we added AJ, just did a lot of work of, hey, what does AJ do well? Obviously you do that going in, then you even look at it even more after you get him. What does AJ do well? How can we use him? And it's been a similar process here with Saquon.
And I love that because that doesn't feel to me like Saquon Barkley is only going to be just another name or another little thing of your offense. No. A.J. Brown is what makes this offense go. A.J. Brown is so stellar that he puts you in a category of elite offense. That's A.J. Brown. Well, if your mission is to bring in Saquon and go, this guy is a machine, he's a force, what can we do to put him in this offense to make sure that we're making the most of that big-time salary? He got a fat-ass paycheck. We're not just paying him to be in the mix with Kenny Gainwell, in the mix with any other back. This guy has the opportunity to be as explosive and as important as A.J. Brown. So A.J. does X, Y, and Z well. Let's do it. Okay, Barkley does X, Y, and Z. Let's do it. And that might sound like a no-brainer. I hope to God that they do that stuff because that's coaching 101. If you're not applying that level of detail to your newly added weapons, then what the hell are you doing from a coaching level? Should we be praising a coaching staff for doing what your job is? And, yeah, kind of. Isn't that exactly what we do in sports in general? When a team wins a championship, their job is to try and win a championship. When they do it, we praise it. We don't go, no one's going to the parade this year because, well, they're paid to win and then they won, so they did what they're paid to do. No, you appreciate, especially when you had questions on, does this coaching staff even do this? I didn't know. I didn't know if they did this. Honestly, I had no idea. In what world did last year's offense or any offense outside of Shane Steichen's offense under the Nick Sirianni regime, in what universe did you have any faith that they thought this way? I had no idea. So once again, all of this, the end goal, you need to execute. If it ends up being piss poor and they don't use his strengths very well, then all of this is for nothing because Dallas Goedert, I think, has a sensational skill set, and I don't believe that they value that as much as they should, or maybe they think they do, but then they actually don't, or maybe they do actually apply the time into the skill set of Dallas Goedert, but they have a difficult time making it actually work from a scheme level, so they need to do that with Barkley. Their approach, though, their approach this offseason with the offense definitely makes me believe that he is going to have such a significant impact. I didn't know that, though. I didn't know that. I was afraid that we'd see the Kenny Gainwell in a 2-minute offense. They're going to try and mix in a Kenny Gainwell because they like his attitude, they like his toughness, they like this, they like that. No. The words of A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley being married in the same sentence lets me know that they have a focus that this guy is going to be a staple. When you talk A.J. Brown, you talk staple of offense. When you say Saquon Barkley, and you view it the same way you did when you brought in A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans, that says to me, staple of the offense. And that might sound silly because, well, when he got to the Eagles and when all the national reporters were screaming, oh my God, can you believe Howie Roseman got Saquon Barkley? You would envision a world where this was inevitable. Well, I can't believe you're praising it as much as you are. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I've seen running back by committee for a while now. We had DeAndre Swift, who had an awesome season, and we saw too much Kenny Gainwell. We just saw too much Kenny Gainwell. So I don't know. This calms down my nerves a little bit. A little bit. Okay? Now, let's hear Nick Sirianni on leadership. Because this is pretty fascinating, and for once, I see a side of Nick Sirianni that I'm not normally accustomed to seeing, and it makes me happy. Did he call somebody out? Let's listen. Let's
Yeah,
listen.
leadership's going to be really important. It's going to be really important, especially when you lose two guys like Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox. Leadership has to come from somewhere. When there's a void from one spot, it's going to have to come from somewhere, and I'm excited to see who steps up. I know Jalen will step up. I know Devontae Smith will step up. I know A.J. Brown will step up. I know Landon Dickerson has very special leadership qualities that I'm excited to see. Lane's always been a leader. Jordan Mailata, I think he has very special leadership qualities that have been untapped a little bit that he can use because Jason's been in charge of that group. Saquon, obviously I'm fresh into knowing him, but have never heard. All I've ever heard is how good of a leader he is. So we have a lot of guys in place to be able to do this and step up with their leadership. And it's going to be necessary because that's what helps leadership, culture. All right, in the addition to the talent is what helps you do special things.
I agree. I have been screaming from the mountaintops since Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox retired that they desperately need to find ways to get back into a high level of leadership. And there were questions about Jalen Hurts, and I have a lot of faith in Jalen Hurts, but to say that the questions were not warranted or not there is unfair. There's legitimate reasons to at least have dialogue. Doesn't mean he can't get better, doesn't mean he can't improve. Tyrese Maxey improved as a leader. Reese Hoskins improved as a leader. I think Bowman, Bryson Stott has improved as a leader. Travis Konechny has improved as a leader. The list goes on and on as young athletes in this town that have really blossomed into being more of a leader, and the same applies to Jalen Hurts. So it's real, and I do expect 2, 3, 4 years down the road, we go, wow, I am really, really in love with the way Jalen Hurts has adapted since the one collapse year, and he has really become such a different quarterback and hit a level of greatness that we all knew he could. We were just waiting for it to happen because the kid is still in his young 20s, mid-20s, and it takes a while to understand how to operate at a very efficient pace year in and year out in this league, battling adversity, battling health. I don't even know how healthy he was. He'll never tell you, but because of the lack of oomph from his run game and a lack of juice from his run game and his ability to be a force in that regard, I have to believe, because I know the guy is a machine and an awesome athlete, that there was something holding him back in that department, and maybe he has a fresh start to the season. He's able to stay upright and not get nicked up so early on so he can show that side of his game again. He's essentially calling out Jalen in a Nick Sirianni way. We need more from them. Yes, we lost a very huge core piece to not only this city, but to the entire league. This is one of the best centers to ever play football. All right, we have to collectively as a unit, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Hurts, hearing Sirianni speak about, and specifically saying names, but he does it in a respectful way where he knows Landon Dickerson has this personality and he now has the stats to back it up, and he's consistently making Pro Bowls, and the dude is a ridiculous guard. And I don't know if he's going to be the guard of the future. Now, I don't know if Cam Jurgens is the automatic center. Nick Sirianni was asked about that too, and we'll get to that in a little bit. That's maybe 5 or 6 on my clips to play here. But I don't know. I just thought I'm a little shocked that it came out that way. But he knows how important it is because I've been screaming at Derek, obviously. Yes, we can't downplay this. Not just on-field production, which is massive in its own right, to get Fletcher Cox's game on the field, that level of production, that matters. People think that Fletcher Cox stinks because he's been doing it for so damn long. You don't realize that he still had an important role, and teams were afraid of Fletcher Cox in that final season. That guy is a warrior. That guy can still do, and he's so smart. He's so detailed. He's so technical, and he's still so aggressive. Nick keeps using the word toughness to describe what he wants. Fletcher Cox, when you look up toughness in the dictionary, it's a picture of Fletcher Cox doing the Army Cross celebration, baby. So you need to find ways to really get that back into your room. And he goes, yes, We need more calling out some of the guys in the. I like the way he did it. I like the way he did it. All right. Here's Sirianni on team bonding. And I am big. And I mean I am big now on vibes. I have transitioned to a vibesman. I need good vibes in my room because I watched this team go through a time where Lane Johnson had to stand up in front of his locker and essentially say that guys don't do it right here. Guys are celebrating. No. We need to be wired in a way where we go right back to the line of scrimmage. We're not playing with this stupidity of we're losing and then we're celebrating. Like, no. Or you get beat and now your body language is bad. No. We have to do it a certain way. And Lane was very adamant about it. He was very pissed off, and he's been in a lot of locker rooms that won. That's not the way to do it. I'm sorry, we're not doing it right. And then when that breaks and that fractures and nobody's on the same page and you can tell that there's animosity in there, you break down. So let's hear from the head coach on the importance of team bonding and how they can really try to improve, because last year it was an issue.
When you have all these different talents, like when you walk in the door and this individual is really good, this individual is really good, this individual is really good. There's a lot of different. You want to be able to spread the ball around to them, and sometimes week in, week out, it's grandly so. It's not going to be that easy to do so, right? AJ's first game, right? He had 10 catches for 155 yards against Detroit, and do you remember how many Devonta had? 0 for none. 0 for none. And he ended up having 1,000 yards that year. And so what's important in the process of a season is that we build the connection, we build the team, right? And so that everyone's, regardless of how much they're eating, everyone's excited for each other. And I know, and that's what's important. And that's what's going to be happening that's what I'm excited about. Building, the team, our core values, our culture over these next months, so that when something like that does happen, because inevitably it will, you don't go in with an assumption that it's going to happen ever, but sometimes it does, that everyone's happy for each other and we get in the locker room because we won the football game and everyone's pumped up. And that's something that you have to work on. And so it's not easy, but that's the time that they spend together, getting to know each other, hanging out with each other. That is so important to a team, because it's not the best group of individuals that wins. It's the best it's the best team. And that's what we're excited about developing here over the next couple months heading into our first game.
Now, the reason I like that clip is if I remove the bias from me, knowing that I'm sour with the way last season finished with Sirianni, and I just hear what is being said, I actually approve of the overall message, and I do think it's important to really value that love affair with the guys. Now, what you can't do is pretend like that matters more than the skill, and he acknowledged that you do need the talents. You do need the guys that can make plays, the guys that are one of the best in the league. Without that, you could have a bunch of guys that love one another and would be willing to play football hard and compete for one another. But if you end up having Quez Watkins, who likes Jalen Hurts, but Quez Watkins is a stiff, and good luck with your next squad out in Pittsburgh. Goodbye. See you later. Sayonara. I want to do nothing with Quez Watkins ever again. I don't want to do it. I'm so glad I don't have to witness it. But as much as he liked A.J. Brown or liked Jalen Hurts, he stinks. He stinks. And I like that some people are justified. Well, I mean, he was a 6th-round pick. And because he was a 6th-round pick, the expectations weren't high. The guy was playing. When the guy plays, I expect you to catch the football. Your job as a wide receiver is to catch the football. If you can't catch the football, I don't give a damn where you were selected, how many snaps you played, taking a risk on that. Hey, it's a flyer. Hey, it was worth the shot. I don't care. He wasn't good enough. That's it. End of discussion. Not what I needed him to be, and failed for you in big spots where you gotta catch the football. He's a wide receiver. If I ask what does a wide receiver need to do, if you answer anything other than catch a football, then you're a fool. Unless you're J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and your big delivery for your squad is, yeah, let me block. let me block. Yo, Nick, I could live without the core value thing, though. I loved everything in there until you said, well, our core value, I don't want to deal with that ever again in my entire life. But I do wonder, though, because team bonding is very large here, and Hassan Reddick, I would imagine, is a very liked veteran in that room. You can't just bring in Bryce Huff and then let Hassan Reddick leave, even though you started to see some of the packages for some of these guys getting traded, and Snead gets moved on from Kansas City because, well, there's going to be a big contract given to him in Tennessee, so the packages and the assets given up is not a lot, and obviously if that's what it's like for Snead, it's the same way for Hassan Reddick. That's why Howie Roseman hasn't traded him yet, because if there was something available, they probably would have done it. There's just no doubt about it, but I don't know if you are serious about contending, how you can honestly look in the mirror if you're Howie and think you did enough on the defensive side by keeping Josh Sweat and then bringing in Bryce Huff, giving him some money, and then rolling with Nolan Smith and Brandon Graham and that being good enough. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. So allowing Hassan Reddick to go and for you to still have this vision that you're going to be a sensational defense and still stick to what you believe wins games, which is a pass rush and getting to the quarterback. This guy accidentally sleepwalks into double-digit sacks. Well, last year he didn't do that. Last year he didn't do that. Okay, well, Bryce Huff is put on this huge little pedestal here for having double-digit sacks and 40-something% of the snaps and this and that. But if Hassan Reddick gets 11 sacks or 10 sacks, 10 and a half sacks, oh, he's getting old. Oh, he's getting old. Okay, I promise you that Bryce Huff, if he plays more, it's not as if that translates to 16 sacks. I don't think you ever get a season where Bryce Huff gets 16 sacks. It's very simple for me with Hassan. Other players get to thrive because Hassan Reddick is on the field. You don't thrive because Bryce Huff's on the field, right? Nolan Smith isn't going to eat and go to town ridiculously because of the attention Bryce Huff gets. I mean, hey, you got Saleh of the New York Jets actually say to the media when it was his time to speak that Bryce Huff is the Mariano Rivera of closing baseball games. Now, if that's the case, and I'll put my hand up and say I apologize, but I saw some of the New York media go, yeah, well, were the Yankees stupid enough to let Mariano Rivera go? Or do you keep him in Yankees pinstripes and he goes down as one of the all-time greatest? And by the way, this is a New York Jets team that's supposed to compete. You bring in Aaron Rodgers, he gets injured, all right. Is he going to run for vice president? Is he not? All right. Now he ends up getting another opportunity here. Your job is to win games, and you're going to let the best closer in all of baseball walk out the door. Doesn't make any sense to me, so I can't imagine a world where I feel that way. Then it gets into the world. Did Joe Douglas, a once Howie Roseman disciple, make the call, and then Robert Saleh didn't actually enjoy that side of it? I don't know. But all I do know is with this team bonding stuff, keeping Hassan Reddick versus trading him for silly value, I do believe can play a role in the way that this start of the season goes, because there's a lot of damn respect for Hassan, and if you're going to pretend like, and not pretend, I know they do. I know they want to win. They are going after it. It's not them pretending. They are. You bring in Saquon Barkley, you're going for it. You bring in CJ Gardner Johnson, you're going for it. You bring in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, you're going for it. So you're going for it. You absolutely 1,000% are going for it. So keeping Hassan Reddick makes the most sense for me. All right? So let's go to clip number 4. This one makes me laugh. This one makes me kind of chuckle a little bit. This is Nick Sirianni on meshing the offense with Kellen Moore. I got to chuckle. Here we go.
Without getting too much into that, like, it doesn't serve us well to give you guys all. I know you guys want all the answers right now, and that's your job. I mean, I respect that, but it doesn't serve us well to put those answers out there until Brazil, right? I mean, I'm just telling you guys right now, I'm not going to give you a lot on that. I'm going to be very vague on this because for anyone to know what we're running and how we're running it or how we're calling it, it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us well, and so we'll keep some things close to the vest. But like I said, Kellen's done a great job so far, and he really gets along well with our guy. Doug's done an unbelievable job so far. Really got a lot of respect for Doug, our new quarterback coach, and excited about how everything's coming together.
All right, Nick, look, it wouldn't be a Nick press conference podcast if I couldn't throw one little jab. I'm not coming for the knockout punch. I'm giving you a lot of respect today. I'm not really ripping you into 1,000 pieces here. But if we're in a boxing match, and that's how I sort of see me and Nick Sirianni right now, I could win a round. Let me just win a round. This is me just winning a round. All right, listen here, Nick. All right, you won't tell the world exactly what you're going to do with your offense and Kellen Moore and how you're going to incorporate it all. I got you. You'll see in Brazil. Okay, I better see something in Brazil. That's all. I better see something in Brazil. I want to see this beautiful offense. If you're going to play hardball, I'm not telling you what we're doing because of competitive disadvantage and this and that. I want to make sure we keep that in-house so we then can be awesome and electric in game one. Well, then you better be. Now, this is what cracks me up, right? Like, let's say the Detroit Lions kept Ben Johnson, so it's a little bit different. But I don't know. Let's make up a word where Ben Johnson got hired, just for this little discussion, right? Ben Johnson gets hired, he goes elsewhere, and the Lions are bringing in a new offensive coordinator. And let's pretend like Dan Campbell is a very good offensive guy in this world. That makes no sense. So you have a genius in Dan Campbell, the offensive guy, and you have a genius coming in a new offensive coordinator. And the Lions were asking Dan Campbell about how are you going to incorporate your new offensive coordinator? And he says a couple of things, blah, 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 a little coach speak, but maybe a little information, this and that. Does Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni go, all right, let me study the shit out of this 17-second answer and really rewind it, play it back again, play it in 2 times slow-mo, play it in 2 times. What is he saying? So my point is, this competitive advantage stuff that they're so obsessed with, right now, at a random conversation in the late stages of March, when they're announcing new kickoff rules and you're not allowed to tackle certain way, and whatever, I'll complain when I get to the time. I don't know how the new kickoff stuff's going to go, so I'll wait. It looks gimmicky, it looks a little corny, but who knows? Maybe it plays out differently once I get a couple games under my belt. And the whole tackling situation, it's going to be difficult for some players to make tackles, and that means we'll probably be outraged by certain defenders. Darius Slay, I won't be shocked if he ends up quote tweeting something going, listen, it's not my fault I missed a tackle, it's because of the new rules and that whole thing. It's coming. Oh, trust me, it's coming. Clip this because we can resurface, and I'm telling you that'll happen. Are you putting that much time into what a new OC in Detroit saying with Dan? How much time would you study into that? So if this whole, I'm not telling you, you're going to see in Brazil because other teams can get this knowledge. Get what knowledge? I know I'm praising you here for one day finally, but come on. I just think they overthink it way too much, and I mean way too much. I got a couple more clips here. I didn't know exactly how many I'll play. I won't play the Cam Jurgens one. Essentially, that one was short. Maybe I'll play the Cam one real quick just to play it, and then we'll get to the CJ Gardner Johnson one, and then we'll kind of wrap things up here. So let's do this. This is Nick on Cam Jurgens.
We'll see. We got a lot of time. We got walkthroughs to go through.
Real quick, that was if Cam Jurgens is going to be the starting center. So it starts off by saying, we'll see. Not yes. Not, yep, we drafted him to be the replacement of Jason Kelce, although you could say that about 5,000 guys in the league. But, yes, this was the question. Will Cam Jurgens be the center?
We'll see. We got a lot of time. We got walkthroughs to go through. We got a lot. We got walkthroughs to go through. We got training camp. We got OTAs. As far as what that looks like, Cam's got a ton of reps. If it is Cam, he's got a ton of reps doing that too. And like Jason didn't take every snap at center last year in practice, so I'm really confident that he can do it. We're really confident, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. He even had that sarcastic little nudge of the elbow. If you watch the actual physical version of it, with the visual version of it, he starts elbowing, making little jokes to a side guy. I think it's because he got stuck, and that was him buying time. So how about a little credit to Nick Sirianni here, thinking on his toes. After so many years, I think you realize, all right, I'm trapped. I'm backed into a corner here. Cam Jurgens is it not going to be landed? Going to be someone else? I have no idea. Hey, Bill. Bill, I haven't seen you in a while, man. How you doing? All right, man, we'll catch up later. Anyway, as I was saying, all this savviness from Nick Sirianni. Now, am I reading way too much into this? I don't think so. That's how I read it. All right, last one here. C.J. Gardner Johnson. He brings an edge. We know he brings an edge. We know he brings attitude. He brings energy, and it was desperately needed last season. There's no doubt about it. So, how do the Eagles feel about bringing that back into the locker room?
I think the word toughness is just the word that we were looking to add tough pieces. And when you go back and look at Chauncey, of the things that he added when he was here in 22, you saw a guy that was willing to throw his body around and play physically tough. And I just, and play mentally tough too. Like there's two pieces of toughness, the physical toughness and the mental toughness. Whether he had a good play, whether he had a bad play, he was playing his butt off the next play with amazing effort. And some of the physical plays that he made too. I mean, there was a tackle in the NFC Championship game where he came up and made an awesome open field tackle on McCaffrey on the sideline, who we know is not an easy guy to tackle. And he made an unbelievable physical play, got up with excitement. Like, I'm really excited about the toughness that Chauncey brings back, and he plays with constant energy, and that's contagious.
It is. Oh, there's no doubt it is. And by the way, the mental side, too, before we get to the energy real quick, the mental side is important. If you want Ringo to maybe blossom into what you think he could be, and there's a lot of intrigue with his ability to play, well, you need to learn how to set the kind of reset and put the last play behind you, and don't worry about you getting beat 2 plays ago. It's a whole new fresh slate. You have to be wired that way. So from a mental aspect, that's very important. And I heard Jason Kelce sort of share some love, and he's obviously not going to throw anybody under the bus or say anything negative about anybody on the New Heights pod, because that's not his personality whatsoever. But I did hear him speak very, very, very passionately about what it means to be a playmaking safety in this league. And you need to be wired in a way where when you go up and grab the football, like, there is a killer-ass attitude to turn the ball. Go get the fucking ball. There is a way that you go about it that's different than others, and C.J. Gardner Johnson brings that. And if you're looking at the Eli Ricks, the Josh show, even though it's not really about them for me, it's about C.J. Gardner Johnson being able to do that, right? I'm not thinking, hey, 3 years down the road, maybe Ringo can learn something from C.J. Gardner Johnson. That's not really what it's about, but I do think to the culture, to the veteran leadership and all that stuff, it is in play. Probably not as important as him just being able to do it, but it's in play there, because locker room in general is a big emphasis with losing the guys like Jason Kelce and whatnot. I think it's important, and there's no doubt that they missed that attitude, and CJ brings that, and I'm excited for it. And look, a lot of controversy surrounding his personality, but I almost think that, and I got swayed a bit by Jason Kelce talking, I'm not going to lie, but maybe there's more to his leadership than I thought. Maybe there's more to his leadership than I thought. I just thought he was a starter. I didn't look at him as a leader, but I'm not against opening the door for that. And then it comes into question the personality. Does it scare you? If you're scared about AJ, scared about Slay, wouldn't you be scared about CJ? And I'd be a hypocrite to say no. But if you go play and you turn the ball over 7 times and snag 7, 8 interceptions, that's what it's all about. I didn't have a problem with A.J. Brown when he was going to get me 150 yards blindfolded. I just had an issue when he wasn't answering questions. Was CJ Gardner Johnson going to not answer questions for 3 weeks to the media after the biggest downfall? Well, you don't deserve that. He doesn't owe you anything. Well, it's weird that A.J. Brown had no problem putting a big smile on his face saying we're 10-1, but the second you start losing is when he kind of evaporates and says, well, I just didn't want to say anything wrong. Well, that implies that something was affecting you so much negatively that you were afraid that you couldn't control your own emotions to answer. Like it impacted him so much that he was afraid he'd say the wrong things. So something was brutally happening behind the scenes, and a leader goes, no, thank you, I don't want to talk. I'm sorry, I don't like that. And will CJ ever fall into that? I don't know. I don't know. I think he might speak. Maybe he'll say things in a tone that we pick apart, which is different from not speaking at all. And I don't know. But maybe he's more of a leader than I'm thinking he is. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. But I do like his energy, and I do like the fact that they desperately need that, and they acquired it. So we'll see where it all goes from here. All right, everybody. Those are my thoughts on Nick Sirianni and the whole crew and what was stated today at his press conference. I appreciate it all so much. I love you to death, and I'll see you all on the next one.